Welcome to Pearls of Time. Today we delve into one of the most unusual and profound climatic events in recorded history. The year 1816, known as the Year Without a Summer. A volcanic eruption thousands of miles away cast a shadow over much of the world, causing not only dramatic weather changes but also widespread social, political, and economic repercussions. Let's explore how this natural disaster, a result of Mount Tambora's eruption, forever altered the course of history. In the early months of 1815, the island of Sumbawa, part of Indonesia, saw troubling signs that the dormant Mount Tambora was becoming more active. Earthquakes, rumblings, and a shift in local weather patterns signaled something catastrophic was brewing. By April 10th, the volcano erupted in a violent explosion that sent plumes of ash and volcanic gases into the sky. This eruption was one of the largest in recorded history. In fact, it's estimated that Mount Tambora released over 100 cubic kilometers of volcanic material, roughly 10,000 times more than the eruption of Mount St. Helens in 1980. The impact on the immediate vicinity was devastating. Entire villages were buried under thick layers of ash, and the local population was decimated. Ash clouds spread far beyond the island, drifting into the upper atmosphere where they circled the Earth, blocking sunlight for months. The global consequences of this event would unfold gradually, but they would ultimately reshape the world. It wasn't just the eruption itself that had lasting effects. The volcanic gases, particularly sulfur dioxide, reacted with water vapor to form sulfate aerosols that remained suspended in the atmosphere. These aerosols reflected sunlight away from Earth, triggering a drop in global temperatures. After the eruption, global temperatures plummeted, but the effects were not felt equally everywhere. The most immediate impact was on the northern hemisphere, where the cooling effect was most pronounced. The year 1816 became known as the Year Without a Summer, as the temperature dropped by about 1.5 degrees Celsius, 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit. This might sound minor, but it was enough to disrupt seasonal weather patterns. In New England, for example, snow fell in June and July, with temperatures dipping to freezing levels in midsummer. People were unprepared for the frost, and crops that were expected to thrive in warm, sunny conditions withered on the vine. The short growing season caused widespread crop failures across much of the United States and Europe. In Europe, particularly in France and Germany, the cold temperatures led to failed harvests and widespread famine. In the United Kingdom, unseasonably cold weather also plagued farmers, and the resulting food shortages pushed grain prices to record highs. The cool, cloudy days created an environment of gloom and despair. The cooling effect of the eruption wasn't uniform, and it varied depending on the location, but the overall reduction in sunlight led to significant global temperature shifts. The cooler summer of 1816 was just one example of how volcanic eruptions can affect the Earth's climate in profound ways, disrupting the delicate balance that we often take for granted. With temperatures failing to rise, the agricultural sector was devastated. In North America and Europe, the effects were catastrophic. In the US, the cold summer led to the failure of key crops like corn, wheat, and potatoes. What was expected to be a prosperous year for agriculture instead turned into a year of mass starvation. Farmers, already struggling from the effects of war and economic hardship, found themselves unable to harvest enough food to feed their families or export goods to market. In Europe, the situation was just as dire. A key agricultural region in France suffered devastating crop losses. For instance, vineyards, a critical industry for the French economy, were severely impacted, leading to a massive shortage of wine and even staple crops like oats and barley. As food prices soared, the poor and working-class families were hit hardest. The hunger and despair that gripped these populations contributed to social unrest. The effects of the famine were far-reaching. Not only did it cause widespread suffering, but it also forced many European governments to respond with relief efforts. But these efforts were often slow and insufficient, leading to political instability in some regions. The lack of food and resources sparked protests, uprisings, and tensions between the classes. This was a period of great instability, and in many places people were struggling just to survive. The effects of the year without a summer weren't confined to the fields and farms. This global climatic anomaly also led to profound cultural and social changes, particularly in literature and art. The gloom and despair of the year 1816 created an atmosphere ripe for creative expression, and many prominent figures of the Romantic movement found inspiration in the strange weather. The most famous literary product of this period was Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Shelley, along with her husband Percy Bysshe Shelley and Lord Byron, had travelled to the Villa Diodati near Lake Geneva in Switzerland, hoping for a summer retreat. Instead, they were trapped indoors by constant rain and unseasonably cold weather. One evening, to pass the time, Lord Byron proposed they each write a ghost story. This challenge sparked the idea that would lead to Shelley's iconic novel, exploring themes of isolation, unchecked ambition, and nature's power over humanity. But the literary impact didn't stop there. The gloomy, eerie atmosphere also led to the creation of The Vampire by John Polidori, inspired by the discussions that took place at Villa Diodati. This marked the birth of the modern vampire genre, which would go on to shape popular culture for centuries. In addition to literary works, the cold summer helped catalyze the Romantic movement, which emphasized the sublime in nature and the emotional depth of human experience. Artists and poets began to focus on themes of the supernatural, the power of nature, and the unknown. This focus on emotion and individual experience helped to foster a deeper appreciation for the natural world, even as it seemed to turn against humanity. On the technology aspect, the Tambora eruption indirectly inspired the invention of the bicycle. The resulting crop failures led to a shortage of horse feed, making it difficult for people to rely on horses for transportation. In response to this crisis, Karl Dreiss, a German inventor, created an early form of the bicycle in 1817, known as the Draisine, or running machine. This invention provided a practical alternative to horse-drawn travel, revolutionizing personal transportation and marking the first step toward the modern bicycle. The year without a summer was a dramatic reminder of the power of nature and the interconnectedness of the world. It demonstrated how an event in one part of the globe could have far-reaching effects on the environment, economy, science and technology, social management and culture. From the eruption of Mount Tambora to the crop failures, famine, and cultural shifts, this year serves as a testament to the fragility of human societies in the face of nature's unpredictable forces. Although the global climate slowly recovered, the social, economic, technology, and political consequences of the year without a summer continued to reverberate for many years. It led to changes in agricultural practices, political reforms, and a deeper understanding of the impact of volcanic activity on the Earth's climate. Moreover, the global impact of the eruption marked a shift in how we view the interconnectedness of human societies and the natural world. The understanding that volcanic eruptions could have long-lasting and far-reaching consequences would shape how we study climate change and natural disasters in the years to come. Thank you for joining us on this journey through time. We hope you've enjoyed exploring the fascinating story of how a volcano changed the world in 1816. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Pearls of Time for more intriguing stories from history. We'll see you in the next video.